We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, by air, President Roosevelt has just announced.
I woke up that morning and heard what sounded like bombs dropping, and they were shouting on the radio that we were being attacked by Japan.
The world was at war. In Europe and the Pacific, enemy aircraft dominated the skies. America's male pilots were being deployed overseas for combat duty, creating a critical shortage of pilots in the States. The demand forced the military to consider training women to pilot military aircraft. But in the 1940s, women piloting United States military aircraft was unheard of.
We were all very close. I think you get very close because you don't know if you're going to be alive the next day.
This is an amazing true story of pioneering women who, for a brief moment in the darkest days of World War II, shattered the glass ceiling to become the first women to pilot American military aircraft.
The primary thing was that we were all there for one purpose, and that was the love of flying.
With the war raging on, more WASP were assigned to ferry aircraft to both coasts for shipping to all fronts of the war.
And I reported for duty the next morning and said to the captain, "Sir, I'm reporting for duty as your new test pilot." And he said, "Jesus Christ." And I said, "No, Barry Vincent." And so right away, he was in shock because no woman had ever been in that hangar before.
After proving they could handle the latest fighters and the heaviest bombers, it all came to an abrupt end. On December 20th, 1944, they were quietly and unceremoniously disbanded.
We were promised that if the program became successful, we would be taken into the Army Air Corps.
It was sort of finding out that a dream could be achieved, but it can be taken away just as easily.
Two of the squadrons, including mine, sent a wire to the president and offered our services for $1 a year for as long as the need existed. But it was turned down.
Losing their military flying status forced them back into civilian life. While many applied for civilian flying jobs, even with their advanced flight training and extensive experience, the airlines refused to hire female pilots. They found themselves grounded. Their dream of continuing as military pilots shattered.
We didn't want the glory. We didn't want any of the publication. We wanted our government to recognize the fact we did our bit in a time when the country was at war, in which they asked for our help, and we gave it, and gave it willingly, and that's all we wanted, nothing else.
Denied their rightful place in history, they struggled for recognition until 66 years later, they were finally officially recognized for their service and received the Congressional Gold Medal.
All we ever asked for is that our overlooked history would someday no longer be a missing chapter in the history of World War II, in the history of the Air Force, in the history of aviation, and most especially the history of America.